Hello. Hi, Aquarius. Wow, throat chakra stuff right away. So this is your full reading. And it's my last for the day because today's element was air. So that means after I look into Aquarius's full reading, I'm going to do some card pulls. And then what I usually do is I give like mini readings. I won't just like fly through it and give you like quick yes or no's. Hi, Corey again. Thank you for watching. My collective is great. If you get a chance, I'm live 12 times a week, plus once on Soul Navigation on Fridays. The community is just amazing. I'm not saying that about me. I'm saying that about like you'll find super cool humans in my chat and in this community. And they're funny. So first we're going to do the full reading for Aquarius. Then I will pull cards and I'll let you all know like what the rule is. I really try to get to everybody who's in the chat and I'll be doing that as long as I can at the end of the elements, which means Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and God, I try for Pisces, but the water signs sometimes take me out and I can't. But today I'm feeling like we can. We already have the Lovers on the table, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to be looking at the energy that you're kind of coming out of, and then going into the energies that are surrounding you now. I'm also looking at other. And if it's your first time here, let me explain what I mean by other. Other can be your person, but it also can be job, family. It is whatever energetic influence that's in your environment that's impacting you the most currently, or in the recent past. And I have had readings where like in the recent past, by the time we get to coming up, that turns into a different energy. And you know, free will is always the biggest player on the board. So this is what's energetically around you and available. At the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords in reverse. So Aquarius, you may have somebody around you, or there may just be like people aren't being as truthful as they could be. Hi, April and Mr. Mando and Lee, Megan, Kayla. Thanks. I love coming into like a chat room that's already cooked and going. I appreciate my replay viewers, and I love the comments that you guys leave and the feedback. Just know that, and I recommend watching this with the live chat going because I keep the replay available for everyone. So we have your energy and other, which I've just gone through. And then we have the energy in the middle that those two energies create, because to every action is a reaction, right? And so let's look. We have Temperance in reverse. This is a really interesting card because temperance means to temper, to like do things in moderation. In this card especially, it looks like somebody is just taking whatever somebody else can give right now. You know, that's not something, everything has nuance. I don't love, like, especially like we live in a meme-driven world, and I love a good funny meme. I love inappropriate sarcastic memes as well. However, like, not everything is black and white. Things have nuance. Sometimes we're in a situation with somebody we care about, or a situation we care about, where they're just unable to feel whole to give us, right? And that's going to happen once in a while. It's when it's a sustained arrangement. If this is all you're ever getting from a situation, that's not healthy. But it's to be expected that at some point that person is just not going to be at 100%, right? This Temperance card came out in reverse. It feels like there's not a lot of moderation going on for Aquarius right now. In their energy, they are trying to get over this kind of like insomnia, worry, anxiety, feeling a little bit like whatever's going on with Aquarius, this person, there may even be like a modicum of ignoring it. Like, it's not keeping me up all night because I'm pretending it's not there. And for some of this energy on this side, it's in the process of conquering it, if you will. Now, the energy that is creating is interesting. It's ego death between the two. So, like, if you're in a situation, Aquarius, where, like, they vibed that you weren't about that life, like, that you were confident on your own or didn't need to have, like, security in the way that other people needed it, like, you're confident. Right? Like, if your partner's like looking over their shoulder, they will probably have they might have the conversation with you that, like, man, look at that person wearing that outfit and aren't they attractive? Because Aquarius can objectively observe factual aesthetic information about other people or situations and not want to go pursue it. You have to kind of have a certain amount of swagger and confidence to be with Aquarius and not get your feelings hurt. They're okay with a little less of a conventional commitment sometimes, depending. Listen, now if they got like Cancer Moon and Taurus Venus, they're going to be all like mine, down, down, right? Like, it doesn't, but I'm saying a lot of Aquarius placements are like cool with like you noticing that somebody, objectively observing that somebody else is aesthetically pleasing is not a deal breaker for most Aquarians. I think maybe when these two energies got together, Aquarius was quirky and brilliant as you are, and attractive, like all of that, like whatever that was, and that like freedom from attachment in itself can be really attractive with an Aquarius. You meet an Aquarius that's like different, breath of fresh air, and also like seeming to be like liberated from attachment. That's hot. You know, and that's something to maybe aspire for a little bit. To aspire to, I should say. But sometimes some people may approach Aquarius wanting them to think like, I'm cool, I'm just as cool as you, like I'm good with it. Yeah, look at that person over there, right? And maybe trying to fake as much confidence and true, authentically detached from the attachments. I know that kind of was redundant, but you get what I'm saying. I think the other situation is almost there, but they maybe fake the funk a little bit in the beginning because they didn't want to, you're Aquarius, right? So like And if you've never seen Meredith on Soul Navigation, I mean, you're all from Soul Navigation, or not all, but I mean, if you know me, you probably also know Soul Navigation, one way or the other. But if you haven't, go subscribe to that channel. Meredith has Genius and Madness of Aquarius. Especially now when everything is about authenticity, somebody marches to their own drummer, but in a genuine way, that's sexy. I feel like this other energy may really genuinely love that, genuinely feel attracted to it, but maybe not completely, wasn't fully with their whole chest, fully confident in that. And there's been a little ego death. Because sometimes that's what it takes to be with an Aquarius. The things, the bells, the whistles just aren't going to impress them the way it can impress other placements. And so from an ego death comes great growth. An ego death is a huge sign. Feels like shit. Huge sign of personal evolution, personal development, emotional maturity, all that good stuff. It just feels like shit. But it's actually like an acknowledgement from your higher self that you're ready. And I see that going on. This is very richly layered already, and we are just in the energy you are leaving. Leave it to Aquarius. So now we have the Lovers on the board. That is in the current. There is a definite feeling of divine connection, and there's a definite it feels like phases for you, Aquarius. I think you genuinely would really like to solidify this connection, this person, this job, this energy. But it feels like everything is a choice. It feels like a lot of it, you know, the Lovers is the card of Gemini, another air sign. But it used to be called the choice. And so I feel like there does feel like a strong connection here, but also it feels like a lot of choices to like make sure. I think Aquarius gets called cold. Depends on the Aquarius placements. But I think that you care that this person may feel off their game, but also you don't want to it doesn't want to be a full-time job. And if you're an Aquarius, that probably makes sense to you, even if it doesn't make sense to everybody else. Like, you do care. You don't want them to feel bad, but you also don't want it to be your full-time job to be their tour guide through loving an Aquarius. Just leave me a comment if that makes sense, if you're an Aquarius and that makes sense. We have in their energy the Page of Pentacles, and I love this Page of Pentacles. What we see here is the skeleton of the snake that eats itself. Like, my end is my beginning, right? As the great Gemma Gemstone Tarot says. But we also have the Phoenix. This isn't just an offer of, hi Nicole, hi Crystal. This isn't just a new message of, let me offer you stability. Holy cow. But this is a new beginning. With the skeletons here and the Phoenix especially, That feels like a starting over for this person. So Aquarius, your person may be going through their own stuff. And again, it is not your job to be the tour guide for loving an Aquarius. But it feels like maybe they're wanting a new beginning. I don't know if that was because there was a little bit of it like that needy. It's hard because you want, right? Like when you don't want to come off needy to an Aquarius, but you better come off authentic. So do you fake not being needy? Like, and if you're cross-watching and you love an Aquarius or you want an Aquarius, that'll also make sense to you. We have Six of Wands in the reverse in this current energy, which is like not feeling victorious, wanting victory and feeling like it's not happening. Which makes sense that they want a brand new start because it feels like something here has like maybe strained the connection a little bit. But it's not like the connection doesn't exist, and it's not like the connection isn't strong. It just feels maybe a little strained. In the upcoming energy, we have this brilliant Two of Swords. And in their energy, we have Death in reverse. Death card coming up a lot. Two Swords coming up a lot. And the Nine of Swords came up in every air sign that I've done today, in either upright or reversed. We have the Death card in reverse. And this Death card blows me away. As you can see, there's like a holding. That could be inner child. This person may have pushed their transformation to be what you want. That could be a job. That could be whatever. This could be a family situation. I do feel like this feels strongly to me that for most of you, this is a person or relationship exchange. It feels like maybe they push themselves a little too much to try to be what you needed because they want you. Right reasons, wrong action. And how often does that happen in our lives, right? Like the motivation, the inspiration for the motivation, the reason is good. But like, hi Dana, but the action is maybe not that right action to get the results. In the middle, the Lovers is called the choice, and then we have the Two of Swords in your energy as well. Like, again, no Aquarius wants to feel like their partner's emotion is their full-time job. When we talk about, we did Gemini just before, Dana, and I'm saying a lot of cards are coming up that came up for Gemini. And did we see the bottom of the deck? Yes. It's the King of Swords in reverse. Which is making more and more sense as we go deeper into the reading. Aquarians don't really want to be somebody's tour guide through to the point where it's a full-time job. There's something called ontology. It's a huge spectrum, but part of what ontology can incorporate is feeling like you have to feel somebody's feelings or having someone expect you to feel their feelings. Not understand them, not speak for them, but actually do the emotional labor. It may feel a little bit to me, Aquarius, like you feel like you've been just doing a lot of emotional labor because you care, but it's starting to you're starting to feel that effects. I love the Two of Swords because there's always a blindfold, right? There's a third way. There's a way where we can trust our intuition. This Lover's card or the choice may feel like this Two of Swords coming up, where their behavior keeps making you feel like I either have to commit to keep doing the emotional labor, which is draining me, which is going to eventually have a bad impact, or I have to be like, whatever happens, happens, and I can't drain myself. There's probably a third way. And that I feel like will evolve and reveal itself. And this is where like boundaries and letting somebody do their own emotional labor is important. The combination of these two energies with like, I tried to change too fast, too hard, and now I'm feeling not my own self in their upside down death, upside down transformation card, and what I just said about Gemini. We have the Devil. We have self-sabotaging thoughts. Maybe the energy between you two feels like it's sabotaging what's going on, which lines up with everything else. So let's clarify this. What shall we use? Does that feel right? Maybe it does, yeah. We're going to use the Love is Love deck. And if you've seen me before, you know that I love this deck because each card has an illustration, a different artist from the LGBTQ community. And they all get credit. All the authors, all the illustrators are listed, which I think is just a brilliant collaboration for a tarot deck. Okay. Wow. Okay. So when I clarify that diminishing energy, the energy you're coming out of, I only use one card because I just don't want to spend too much time on what has already transpired. Okay. Oh, wow. That's my favorite Aquarius card. Okay. It's not an Aquarius card. It just, the illustration is so Aquarian. There's that one and the Strength card, and I just love them. Wow. Okay. It's funny because the Strength card that I just mentioned that I loved came out, but it has no place on the board, but it just peeped. They heard me. Okay. So, the overall energy for this reading was the King of Swords in reverse. And this is the card that's also clarifying all of that energy from that you're coming out of, that your situation is coming out of. Somebody not fully feel like they're standing their integrity and also not being fully truthful. I don't get a huge, what's interesting is that I do believe the King of Swords applies for you, and I do believe it applies for them. I think for them, it's a little different. I think for you, it's like what's not being said, because this energy feels fragile on the other side, Aquarius. I think for them, It's what you're not saying, that they may possibly, that part that they really want to feel more secure, and the insecurity has them thinking that there's somebody else that maybe has your attention. Because watching you light up or having interesting conversations with other people, it might be a little triggering for them. Thank you, April. You know I adore you. And I'm going to do free card pulls, so everybody hang out when the full reading is done. It's very interesting because what I have in reverse in your energy is the Three of Cups. I do kind of feel like whatever little insecurities is not just about your behavior, but about their history, and they are wondering if there's somebody else who has your interest more than they do. And I don't think that's the case. I don't actually think Aquarius is cheating at all, but I think that it's an unsaid concern or insecurity that's really not manifesting in a great way. In the Six of Wands, clarifying the Six of Wands, wanting this success that feels like it's a little out of reach, is the Four of Wands. The victory that they want, oh, that makes so much sense. The victory that they want is, because this is very clearly, a lot of people see Four of Wands as wedding. And I do too, especially if there's like the Hierophant or other cards around it. It can be celebration of union. For a few of you, Aquarius, this person is pretending like they don't want to have the engagement, the marriage, the full commitment, the moving in together, whatever that means for them and you, but they do. And they're not, they figure that you don't, there's an old saying about like writing a check with your mouth that your ass can't cash. They so want to genuinely be in a place where they don't have unhealthy attachments. But also there's something to be said for like personality types that flourish in traditional commitment structure, right? And that doesn't make you good or bad. For if somebody's cross-watching, that doesn't make you good or bad. The thing that's really important is that we're always honest. And it may just been like a rush at the moment. Like, I can totally do this because this is so exciting. This is so like, this is a breath, right? Because Aquarius is always like a breath of fresh air. And I feel like for those who really wanted that breath of fresh air and really thought that they could move forward and not need all the traditional, if you're set up that way, you're set up that way. Right? And like I said, if you find an Aquarius that's got like, Cancer moon or a Taurus moon or a Taurus Venus, they're going to be, I looked at it's mine as well. Mine, down, down, down. So like, you don't know. I have the Four of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. That wanting to start all over again from other is tied to this Ten of Pentacles. I mean, this is such a clear story of somebody not saying what they truly want because they don't want to be too much. They don't want to come off needy. But the thing is energetically, it already feels that way. If you're cross-watching, I know that you're doing the best that you can. But whether you're saying something or not, or whether you're afraid to say the wrong thing because you don't want to scare them because they're not as conventional. And you thought that you could be not as conventional, but now you're starting to want those things again. What's not being said can still be felt. And that's everybody. That's just general advice. Energetically, it still hangs in the air. In this upcoming Two of Swords, we have the Knight of Pentacles. I love that Knight of Pentacles. It's such an Aquarian Knight of Pentacles card, right? On a seahorse. The movement has turned slow. Not sure if that's also feeding this person's worry. But you're just slow in your roll because it's like, I don't want to push one way. It's at the point where it just feels like walking the emotional labor and the walking on eggshells. So you've just slowed your roll, possibly. If this is work related, then you're not. You either way, you slowed your roll and you're just gonna go slow and steady because it's getting tiring. This is the third time the Queen of Wands has come up almost in this position, but it has come up in every single, the Death card, I'm pretty sure, the Nine of Swords, and there was another card that has come up in every air reading today. So maybe you cross watch when we're done with this. Queen of Wands in reverse is what the two energies have created. The Death card has now been confirmed by the Death card in the other position. But honestly, I think they're pushing themselves. If you're cross-watching the Aquarius reading because you're crazy about an Aquarius, you cannot push yourself to be something that doesn't align with your best interest and your sanity and your peace, because that's really what happiness is. Happiness is a sense of peace, and the absence of enormous pain, like distracting emotional and mental pain. Happiness is like loving the things the way they are and not waiting for them to be how they should be. But if how they are doesn't align with you, the happiness is going to be really hard to like sit back into. You know what I mean? To like lean into it, to like feel it with your whole chest, all of that. Aquarius, I gotta tell you, you're coming off as the lovely humanitarian that you fucking are. Libra had a lot of growth. This is like a beautiful energy of like, you know, it feels like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe holding back a little bit. Miscommunication has been coming up in all of the air sign readings. Irony? Yeah, because you're air signs. Communication. Also, ironically, it's almost like this reading has been more for other or cross watchers than it has been for the Aquarius crowd, because like, you know, these readings are about like guidance and checking in on the other energies that you can't see, right? But like you can't, you're not going to feel aligned with what does not, you can have growth, and that is wonderful, and uncomfortable situations make us change and inspire us, but constant uncomfortable situations that trigger us in an unsafe way that we do not share with others is sustained trauma, even if it feels minimal, even if it feels like I cannot go to other people and call this trauma because they've really been through things. I'm feeling a little stomach knots over here. I'm feeling a little like fight or flight, but on that like doable level, right? The kind that you fake. The kind that you, like, I'm good. I got this. I'm good. But you almost have that little, like, maybe I might throw up. Maybe I'll be good. We'll see when we get to the other side of the situation. When we get on the other side of the conversation. We get on the other side of the exchange. On the other side of the end of the day of work. Whatever this is. I'm encouraging authenticity in communication. Because if you try to hold on to something so much that doesn't align with you, and you can't make it align with you, then it's not for now. You know? It's not for now. Or slow your roll and be patient. Whatever. But I'm just saying, like, it's not gonna, you can't keep pushing yourself to, like, transform into something that doesn't sit right with your soul, and triggers you enough that you have, like, little knots in your stomach. There's a difference between butterflies and knots, people. Okay. Let's get a message from the situation. Although I don't want to do one of those. Let's get a shadow card. That seems appropriate for this reading. And then hold on, because we're going to be doing the free card pulls. And I'm going to do that with these readings as long as it's sustainable. I should be so lucky that in a month I have too many viewers to be able to just sit here and pull cards. Okay. Get creative, Aquarius. If this is draining you, you have to go in creative process. One, that's just gonna, I'm hearing lead by example. So if this person is so preoccupied that it's becoming too much of a topic, you know, there should be open communication, there should be authenticity, but not everyone wants to have the, like, let's discuss our relationship conversation 3 times a day. Aquarius, if you get creative, that is going to be cathartic for you to not constantly be, like, looking around the corner to see when they're going to be fragile and when they're not. Again, whether that's a job or a person. Getting creative is also a fantastic way to lead by example. Aquarians are our innovators. They're our solution finders. Without bias, they're amazing, right? We can all be so grateful. Not only that, we get to be alive in the age of Aquarius is great. That creativity is going to procure some of that liberty and freedom that Aquarius craves. It's also a great way to lead by example, and you are leaders. Whether you want that responsibility or not, you are innovators, and other people look to you. A lot of people can't imitate you, but they look to you. Let's just call that what it is. I said what I said. Should I read from Into the Lonely Woods? Or do I grab a different kind of oracle? Do you all want to break from the reading? You let me know. I'm putting cards back for a minute. I just heard that. Is that Casey and Joe? Who was Jodeci? And then I wanna know. It's like R&B. That I probably didn't sound anything like the sound of the song. my lighter is not working, so I'm just going to use my selenite wand. And some intention. Replay viewers. I hope you get to catch me live when I'm doing one of these free card pulls. And I love you, know you love you. Live chat viewers, hang out.